Hi, my name is Megan Johnson, and this is my Coming Full Circle and Visual Aid for Intro Service Learning. Overview, selection, and history. So I chose to do the alternative assignment. For mini project number one, I chose to create cards for Love for Our Elders and cards for hospitalized kids. For mini project two, I completed two ETSU Serves Days. One was Service Saturday, April 18th at the Boys and Girls Club of Washington County. And the second was Spring 2026 Boundless Playground Day of Caring, April 25th at Warriors Pass State Park. I chose these because I wanted to support hospitalized children and elders, and I also wanted to help clean community resources that are used by many. So, Love for Our Elders actually began when the founder, Jacob Kramer, his loving grandpa passed away, and he wanted to try to find a connection like the one that him and his grandfather shared. So, he started volunteering with elderly people, and he was very upset with the loneliness and isolation that he saw. So, in 2013, he began writing letters, and ever since then, his mission has been to end loneliness. Cards for Hospitalized Kids is a nonprofit that was founded in 2011 by a high schooler named Jen Rubino. Her own hospitalization and her own experience undergoing over 20 surgeries inspired her to support others, and it began as a local endeavor but quickly expanded and is now national and delivers cards to all 50 states. The Boys and Girls Club of Washington County was organized in 1944 by the Salvation Army, and at first it actually only serviced boys. And in 1972, a new facility was finished, which is the facility they are located in now. It contains so many different resources. A lot of them are outdated now, like the swimming pool and the boxing ring, but they do still have gyms, reading area, arts and crafts, just a bunch of stuff. And in 1996, it was changed to the Boys and Girls Club of Johnson City / Washington County. Daryl's Dream Boundless Playground at Warriors Pass State Park is a 3-acre complex, and Daryl Rice was actually the president of the Friends of Warriors Pass State Park, and he had a dream to make a playground. And he went out and spoke to different people, and they decided that they were going to build a boundless playground, which is a playground that is all accessible. So it is accessible for children of all abilities. And one of those examples is the Braille Trail. And it opened in 2006. And unfortunately, Daryl had passed away at that point, but it was named Daryl's Dream Boundless Playground in his honor. Purpose, causes, and funding. So, why does this form of service exist and what populations does it serve? Love for Our Elders eliminates isolation and loneliness in elders by making connections through cards. CFHK, Cards for Hospitalized Kids, shows support for children faced with hospitalization through making cards. The Boys and Girls Club provides safe, supervised, and affordable programs for kids and teens. And the Warriors Path Playground, Daryl's Dream, provides a safe playground that is accessible for children of all abilities. The root causes behind these services are loneliness and isolation, hospitalization, isolation, sorry, hospitalization, after school and summer programs, and accessible playgrounds. So, since these projects and agencies are nonprofits, they receive funding through donations. Warriors Path is a little bit different since it is a state park, so it receives funding from the state and through grants as well as donations. I believe that funding could always be improved. Many areas of the Boys and Girls Club specifically needed remodeled and were very outdated. The boxing ring and the swimming pool are no longer a thing. Some aspects of the playground were outdated, such as the Braille Trail speakers, they didn't work anymore. I also believe that funding is important because it provides updated services to continue supporting our community. Preconceptions, unique aspects, and improvement. So, some preconceptions that I had was that I would not feel connected making cards, that it was just kind of something that was very simple, that the only people volunteering would be other students that were required to do so, and that I wouldn't be making a big difference just as one person. So, some unique aspects of these services are how versatile they are. It is so easy to make cards and make a difference in someone else's day, and you can do that from your home. It's also so fun to connect with others in the community through cleaning and organizing. The one agency I noticed that could use more improvement is the Boys and Girls Club of Washington County. It was extremely overcrowded. The back gym was completely full of stuff and you could not use it. The front gym was also full of stuff, but it was all pushed up against the walls, and pretty much every room is full. So, to improve this, I would host yard sales or more service days to help eradicate the amount of stuff that there is. Personal growth, long term goals, surprises, and insights. So, some surprises. What I learned about myself is how helpful I can be and how much I can learn from servicing. I learned that I can handle a lot more than I think I can. I was initially very overwhelmed at the thought of completing service hours for this course, excuse me, as well as another course that I'm taking, and then balancing my other courses and a full time job. And I'm very proud of myself for balancing all of that. I also was very surprised at how much of the community volunteers, specifically at Warriors. The volunteers were full of churches, elderly people, families, and individuals who were just there strictly because they wanted to volunteer. This course has surprised me with how much I've learned about how service learning impacts the lives of everyone involved and how we work together as a community. Personal growth, professional development. I believe that these services have helped me interact with others from every walk of life. I also believe that they have furthered my ability to serve my community and have allowed me to learn more about human services as a whole and what it means to be a service learner. Spiritual fulfillment. I believe that this has led me to a sense of belonging and importance, and it has also made me feel very valued and helpful. There were so many people that came up to me and were like, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for helping. Social understanding. I believe that this has really helped me understand the many different people in my community, and it has also showed me the many different resources in my community that are offered. Connection to long term goals. My goal is to be a counselor, and I would love to do crisis counseling and provide trauma informed care. The services that I have conducted have allowed me to connect with so many different types of people. They have allowed me to connect with my community in a way that I never thought was possible before, and has allowed me to understand and become associated with the many different resources in my community. This association has, I believe, furthered my ability to connect these resources with future clients. Stories, key lessons, and aha moment. So I actually volunteered at Warriors Path with my sister, which was super fun. We cleaned the treehouse and the Braille Trail together, and we just kind of had a girls' day. We were on our hands and knees and we were scrubbing the floor of the treehouse. We were cleaning off the signs of the Braille Trail, and it was honestly really, really fun. I also met a fellow classmate at the Boys and Girls Club. We were cleaning the pantry and organizing it, and we were just chit chatting. We were like, oh my gosh, we're in the same course. And we would have never known that. And creating cards for elders and children. I am a very artistic person and I really love to draw. And I really enjoyed, there was one card that I made for spring and I drew a little bunny on it, and I really enjoyed that. And I did fulfill the requirements by making numerous cards for the two online service projects and attending two ETSU Serves Days. So here are some pictures On the left, we've got me and my sister volunteering at Warriors up in the tree house, and then a picture of the playground. Then in the middle, we have pictures of the Boys and Girls Club. The bottom picture is when we were going through food donations. And then on the right is um, two of the cards that I have made for Love for Our Elders and cards for hospitalized kids. Key lessons: reciprocity and reflection from chapters 2 and 3. I always assumed that service and volunteering was a one-way street. You give back for free, and that's not the case at all. I have changed so much as a person since serving my community, and I have learned about the different needs, resources, and people that are served. I have learned so much from the people that I've met. Responsive citizenship: it is our duty to care for others and render service with a desire to do so, which I really saw at Warriors with the different volunteers. And working together through leadership and responsive citizenship runs our communities. Aha moment. My aha moment was walking into the playground and seeing the amount of volunteers and the diversity. It was very significant to me because it opened my eyes as to how many people would spend a Saturday volunteering to clean a playground. There were clubs, churches, elderly people, families, and individuals. And this really showed me how responsive citizenship connects to this service. These volunteers had a responsibility and a desire to serve their community. Section 2: Interesting Facts, Changing Perspectives, and Personal Challenges. Some interesting facts: there are year-round volunteers at Warriors. So the three ladies that were over the rail trail and treehouse cleaning actually met through a spring service day, which I thought was really cool. I also really enjoyed learning more about the elders receiving cards. One of the elders that I wrote to is named Ed, and he lives in New York with his cats, and he loves to garden, and he also really loves ferrets. The amount of resources at the Boys and Girls Club was also really interesting, although some of it is outdated. I just found it super cool how many different aspects there were. Changing perspectives, I kind of touched on this a little bit, but the population of people who volunteer, it's not just students, it's everybody in the community that just wants to be there. Personal challenges: I have been challenged by balancing schedules and time just with all of my other courses and working a full time job. It was kind of stressful. And here are the resources for the history on these amazing projects. Thank you.